This might be you.
What?
People say that Garp was wrong at Marineford because he did not save Ace when he could have saved Ace. But I disagree.
Why?
In fact, I have disagreed with that sentiment for years. And I have the video evidence to prove that over here. A video done back in 2018. I've been saying for literal years now why I thought that Garp was one of the best written characters in the story, and seeing his actions in saving Koby defy Marine orders now when he didn't back then during Marineford, I think in some ways does validate some of my points I made in that video. So back during Marineford, there was an internal struggle within Garp on whether or not he should have saved Ace. And ultimately, he chose not to save Ace, and Ace, of course, died at the hands of a Kingu. Tragic, very tragic, but I think Garp made the right R-I-G-H-T call. Yes, peep this, just peep this. Sabo and a few good men, merchandise, link in the box below on Redbubble, but they rolled up on the Holy Land and saved Kuma from their clutches. Fujitora, Greenbull, CP agents, and other Marines forces, they could not stop them from catching that big fat W, and Akainu is ultimately correct. No excuses. One of the major byproducts of Sabo and his clique success during this whole incident is spurring the flames of revolution around the world. And in chapter 1054, Kuroumo talks about how there are 8 kingdoms in open revolt now, and Sabo is being worshipped like he is a god, capital G-O-D. Of course, we all know the name, the Flame Emperor Sabo. You have to respect it. And of course, in this case here, the actions of a few affected the many. The actions of those few good men affected the world. Now, recently, we have found out that Blackbeard was going to use Koby as a bargaining chip to make Full Aled Island an actual nation under the wing of the world government. And even though Koby is sword, Blackbeard knows full well that people around the globe would view the Marines or government in an even more negative light if nothing was done to save the hero of the Rocky Port incident. The incident that Oda continues to hype up but has not shown us a single lick of at this point in time. But it's even in the movies too, where even in Film Red, Koby is well received and loved by the people that are in the crowd of Uta's concert. They, the people, the populace, the Marines, the world loves Koby. Arguably in the same vein as they love Garp Shujo. Now, maybe not, let's say, the same level as Garp, but for damn sure on the same track. Absolutely. If Garp is All Might, then you can easily guess who Deku is. It's not Ace, it's Koby. Koby is clearly the Deku in this situation. He is inherited All for One, and he is going to gain the good graces of the people, the Marines, because he's being loved in a similar fashion. And it is the trust of those very same people, particularly outside the New World, because the New World is run by Yonko and Emperors, not by the Marines or government for the most part. So it's the folks that are mainly outside of the New World, it's their trust. That is one of the most important things that is keeping the system of the Marines and the world government going. People that are established pillars of that system cannot afford to crumble, and Garp is 100% one of these pillars. If Garp decided to betray the Marines and tried to save Ace during Marineford and defied Marine orders, and this was caught live on camera, that would be a crushing, crippling blow to the world government and particularly to the marine system and order. In the same way Roger's words ushered in the great pirate era, Garp's actions could have ushered in the great marine collapse, unironically. And Garp, I think, knew this. In the heat of the moment, and when his convictions were seemingly buckling, he could let other people like Luffy and his allies try and save Ace in his stead. Of course, not overtly, but in subtle and covert ways. But ultimately, Garp bears way too much of a responsibility to act on it himself to save Ace. Even though Garp is obviously clearly the freest marine in all of the oceans, where the sword guys, you can argue, emulate Garp, where Garp has so much leeway, Garp can just do whatever.
But at the end of the day,
he is not as free as someone like Goldie Roger or Whitebeard or even current Luffy, because he's still a marine at the end of the day. And he's not just any ordinary marine, he is the hero of the Marines. The Marines can replace a former admiral like Kuzan with Isho or Aramaki. The world government for years have been replacing warlords, and eventually they made their own clones of the warlords via SSG, the Seraphim. But Garp, the hero of the Marines, is not replaceable. And arguably, in the grand scheme of things, as what Dr. Strange says, in the grand calculus of the multiverse, whatever it is, right?
no.
Being the hero of the Marines has more weight than Ace's very life. Garp is not replaceable. Yet. You see, this is the final saga of the series. And even though I know people love Garp Chujo, there is a high likelihood of him dying in this saga, right? Right now, looking very good against the 10th Titanic captain of the Blackbeard Pirates, Kuzan. So far, though, this fight, I'd argue, has just started. Garp's clique are still overall outmatched. They have one ship in a horde of like hundreds of thousands, millions of pirates. So they're outmanned, obviously. They are on an island being controlled by an Isle fruit user. And I'm not talking about Walmart aisles, Target aisles, Whole Food aisles. I'm talking about an island human in Avalo Pizarro. And there are 3 other Titanic captains, Vasco Shot, San Juan Wolf, and City of the Rain, who haven't made a single move yet. Right now, Garp and company ultimately have the element of surprise going for them, which is a great thing, absolutely. But most folks, as far as I know, if they see Blackbeard pull on up to full Lead Island and Garp is still there, it's over.
Don't move, it's over.
It's over. It's done for our famous, fearless hero, Garp Chujo. Furthermore, in the grand scheme of things, in the grand calculus of the multiverse, right, of the story itself, One Piece, it is likely that the entire world government system is going to fall, since the celestial dragons, the Gorosei, and of course Imu, are prima villains for the revolutionary army, and at some point in the future, likely Monkey Jesus Luffy. It's very likely that in the future we're going to see Luffy and Sabo and Dragon and Luffy's Grand Fleet and Dragon's forces and so on team up, taking down the entirety of the world government structure. That is very, very possible. Shanks might also be involved in this as well. And if Imu is the final villain of the series, then even more so the case. Of course, folks, we're talking about the final war of the series, the very same war that Whitebeard talked about before he died at Marineford. And It's a very, very, very safe bet that they, meaning the world government, all their forces, are going to lose, and the world will have to rebuild unless Oda wants to do a two-piece, and then it's going to be the son of NL who will lead the world into true prosperity. I promise you. Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
手配書にない顔だよね。何者だい?
That being said, though, the perfect person to be the face of this rebuilding process, or in this case here, the second generation of the greatest marine hero, is Koby. It is Koby. When the world is in chaos and the system is crumbling down, it is going to be Koby and other Marines of the same type, same ilk, that will carry on that flag into the next stage of the world. A new world needs new heroes. So even though to some, it might not seem like much now for Garp to save Koby, but just how Garp made the right play in not saving Ace in the grand scheme of things, ultimately, he is again making the right play in defying orders to save Koby. The One Piece All Might needs his Deku to push the legacy forward, and Koby is that Deku. But let me know where you stand on the subject matter at hand. If you enjoy your boys' content at large, make sure to rate this video with a thumbs up. Of course, subscribe to the channel and click on that bell to join the notification squad. I'm gonna catch you cats on the flip side.